Hair salon at gmail.com. I think his name is Joseph. S-A-R-S-O. Okay. All right, if you'll send that to him, I will. And I told him if he happens not to come on tonight, that he's going to try to have one every Tuesday, so. If you miss him, he'll pick up. Yeah, well, he called me, so he did things, so. Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, I better check this out. So let's go right. Let's go right.
Yeah, she was there and I said,
They would call their application. Here. Not if that's what you do. Yeah, I can't give them something to make it. Yeah, this will problem.
absolutely. What I got on. I'm not turning my back to y'all. Matching your folders, the outfit today.
Yeah, I'm going back through it. Yeah, it's just been crazy today. And him and I actually talked together today on the phone.
Love this country. I like that. It's hard.
He hasn't called me yet. But it's not my
There we go. He's just fine. You can't get
Are you? Okay. Yes, I know. Mine too.
most people do that.
Someone also saw before we had to.
Oh,
Someone yelled over to them. Yeah, yeah. We were like, yeah, who bother you door? Yeah, we have that.
I'm just, I can have to almost something Well, that ain't bad. Yeah. My insurance is not like that. Unless you're
Sorry, sir.
Go ready to go. Yes, sir, we are.
Yeah.
I was thinking they all were. We were gonna have it in the probate court ring, but this ring got freed up at the last minute.
Yeah, yeah. You can use that one, years.
Oh, yeah. Hello. Hello. Look at that windshield. Hello, sir. Oh, okay, okay. That's not what we're doing. Okay. Okay, good deal, that's good. Well, I'm listening to him last week. You gotta be part of it. Yeah, you can just listen to him. Go around that way.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Canola Scott. I am the chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and first of all, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you here tonight. I'm a larger crowd than usual, and that's a good thing. People are concerned about what's happening in that county, and they should turn out to these type of things and express their opinions. First of all, I'd like to ask you to please stand and have a word of prayer. Father God, our Father, once again, that we're out in our presence, thank you for life, health, and strength. Our Father, we thank you for everything that you've done for us and everything that you're about to do. Our Father, we ask that you come and visit us tonight, and we may try to do the business of the county. And our Father, we ask you to bless our government, bless this entire world. And our Father will be so careful to give you all the praise and glory. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce to you the board members tonight, or let them introduce themselves. And I will start from my left over here.
Good evening, I'm Bruce Gandy, District 5.
Good evening, Cynthia Fortson, District 3.
Kenneth Bradley, District 1, and Vice Chair. Lee Mitchell, District 2.
William Smith, District 4.
Mike Pruitt, County Attorney.
And we have
Tracy Patrick, zoning administrator.
Melissa Payne, zoning clerk.
all right. One of the things tonight is everybody doesn't have a microphone, so you have to listen up real well. We'll try to speak loudly where you can hear us. But those of you that may be a little hard of hearing may want to come up near the front so that you can hear us plainly. I am required to read some things to you tonight, and as follows. As the first order of business, I am required to read a few statements regarding the zoning process. If you have any questions, I will address them once I am finished. Zoning directly affects private property rights, which includes the right of the property owner to enjoy and to use their property, and the right of adjacent owners and the general public not to be unreasonably harmed by specific land use. Tonight is the first of two public hearings. A second public hearing will be held before the Board of Commissioners on May the 5th at 6 p.m. at this location. Attendance is not required, but your attendance is recommended. One note, this meeting tonight is held in this courtroom. The plan is for the next one to be held in the Commissioner's room, and you will come in the back door. That is subject to change, but that is the plan tonight. So when you come on May 5th, please park in the back and come in the back door. Order of business. As to the order of business tonight, I will introduce the applicant, and then the zoning administrator will give her comments. Then the applicant will come forward, state their name and address, and state their reasons for their request. You may provide information or documentation supporting the application. Next, the Planning and Zoning Commission will have the opportunity to ask the applicant questions. Next, I will open the floor for public comment. Ample time will be given to those that may want to speak for or in opposition to the rezone request. Note, all comments will be addressed to the commission and not to others in attendance. No personal attacks will be allowed. I would also ask that if you have a spokesman that is going to represent you, please do that. We don't want to limit anybody to speaking, but we don't want to address the same thing over and over and over again. Next, the applicant will allow ample time to rebut any concerns expressed by other speakers. At this junction, no comments will be allowed except by the board members. Then I will open the special session of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Then I will ask for a motion to approve, to deny, or approve with conditions. The recommendations will be presented to the Board of Commissioners on Monday night, May the 5th. Does any member of the Planning and Zoning need to recuse themselves for any request tonight? Hearing none, we will move forward with our first request. The last comment I will make is that please remember that the Planning and Zoning Commission is a recommending board. We will make a decision tonight as to our recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. The final say will be with the Board of Commissioners on May the 5th. So please, if you have a concern, be present at that second public hearing. All right, number one, and please excuse me if I mispronounce your name or I'm not very good at that. Number one, Levon, can you help me with that?
Yes.
I'll be with it.
Madison.
Trustee.
The project is requesting a dual rezone for 6.24 acres. Ms. Patrick, your comments, please.
Okay, so he is requesting a dual rezone for the 6.24 acres from A1 to R1 and AR. He's requesting to rezone a 1.5 acre portion from A1 to R1 to split to get to his mother, and is requesting to rezone the remaining 4.74 acres from A1 to AR to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. Property is located at 102 East Commerce Road in Commerce on map 2, parcel 45 in District 1.
All right. You want to come forward and, speak to the board?
Well, I'm chosen, 102 East Commerce Road.
Well, tell us what you want,
Oh, sorry, first time. My mom's getting old in age, and I'm just trying to get her closer to me, and this is kind of the only option I'm seeing as an opportunity to, build a home for her as she's approaching 70, we just want to be able to take care of her closer.
All right, sir. Any member of the board have any questions for this gentleman?
I just have one about the driveway.
Yes, sir.
The intentions for driveway, on the site plan, it does mention there's, I guess, a driveway to your current property, but there's also an existing 60-foot access easement on the property adjacent to you. Are you wanting to use a shared driveway for both homes, or are you wanting to utilize the access easement for your neighbor?
So ideally, I would prefer to use my driveway. It'll save me some money, but if it's problematic, I will, I guess, have to resort to the access, easement.
So you prefer just to use a shared driveway?
Just, it's easier if there's not a lot of traffic. Yes, sir.
I just wondered what your intent.
Anyone else?
Concerning the driveway, does your neighbor, when I went up there, I know your home's on this side, and then there's a home on that side,
Yes, ma'am.
and there's nothing behind that?
That's correct.
Okay, so does that home that's on that highway, does it have an access to that main road?
They do.
Okay, so they have another access?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any others? Any further questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
At this point, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor of this particular request? Anyone here wants to speak in favor of this request? Hearing none, is there anyone wants to speak in opposition? Anyone wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll bring it back to the board, and I will entertain a motion to approve with conditions or to deny.
Well, I guess I, make a motion to approve, and why I say that is, for one, it's, bringing one into conformity, even though it's not something that we really want in the area, A1, but there's one there close to it, and I think that one sits far enough back that it's not really going to be, it sits way off the road.
Okay, I have a motion by Cynthia to approve. I have a second.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second.
We have a second by Gandy. Any further comments or questions? If not, I have a motion and a second to approve. Mr. Gandy?
Yes.
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 All right, sir. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners on May the 5th that this application be approved. Moving on, number 2, I believe we have a withdrawal. Is that correct, Ms. Patrick? All right. We're gonna move on to number 3, John and Amy Dobbs.
They are requesting to rezone a 5-acre portion of their 33.83 acres from A1 to AR to split and give their son for a home site. The remaining 28.83 acres will stay in the A1 zone. The property is located at 0,000 Oaks Drive in Danielsville on map 8, parcel 21 in District 2.
All right.
Hello,
Mr. Shaw?
John Dawson,
Yes, sir.
live at 625 Points Road. And we are looking to rezone the 5 acres. We actually live on the adjoining property to the southwest. And we're gonna deed 5 acres to our son for a home.
All right, sir. Anything else? Anyone have any questions for Mr. Dobbs? Hearing none, thank you, sir. All right, I will open the public hearing and ask for anyone here that wants to speak in favor of this rezone request. Hearing none. Anyone here wants to speak in opposition to this particular rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mitchell. Any further questions or comments? If not, Cynthia.
On this one, I really could not find anything close or anything,
I'm asking for a vote.
so I'm gonna have to stay on.
Yes.
Beg your pardon, I didn't hear you.
Mine is no.
Yours is no.
Yes.
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 All right, this one has been approved. 1 vote. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners to approve this particular rezone request. All right, moving on to number 4. In Watto. Everybody needs to help me with this one. Basketball, all right. Basketball. Yes, sir.
He is requesting to rezone his 12.33 acres from A1 to AR to split a 4-acre tract out to give to his mother for a home site. The property is located at 0 Duncan Swindle Road in Commerce on map 11, parcel 39-08 in District 1.
All right, sir?
Yes, sir. So I met with our company for the response for that because we need that with their house was right.
All right. Any of the Board of Commissioners have any questions? Hearing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'll open the public hearing. Does anyone wants to speak in favor of this request? Hearing none, anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we, approve this as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Gandy,
I'll second.
a second by Mr. Smith. Further comments or questions?
Yes, folks, there's gonna be enough road frontage on both properties.
Yes, sir. Let me pull that just to.
About 360 feet, so that should be enough.
That answers my question.
Okay.
So, yes, sir. It varies from
All
that.
right, Ken, it's on you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This has to do, we will recommend approval for the Board of Commissioners on May the 5th. All right, number 5, Brian Kimsey with Carter Engineering, applicant for LJ Herbert Incorporated. Ms. Pat.
And he is requesting to rezone the 12.64 acres from business to industrial to operate a concrete block manufacturing facility. The property is located at 0 Highway 29 South in Hull on map 32, parcel 22 in District 3.
All right, Ms. Kim, Kimsey? What's it,
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to come talk to you tonight. We are representing the future owner of the property that will develop the property into a concrete block facility. This is just first thing up front, it's not a concrete manufacturing facility, it's a block manufacturing facility inside the building. And so, this is gonna pull up the title on that real quick. Or read everyone's time. You go to the next page. So this property, as you can see here on the screen, is primarily, there's two pieces to the property now. And I apologize for my voice, all the time got to me. The front part of the property will remain business, for that corridor through there. The back of the property, where you see it's mostly, there's a tree line on the property line and then the green space there. That's what we're asking to be rezoned, that portion of the property. What the plan is, if you go to the next page, please. The plan is to have a concrete block facility building, which is 25,800 square feet, concrete block building, or manufacturing facility. Building is 27 feet tall at the E height, at the peak part of the building, about 20 feet at the eaves of the building, so less than 30 feet. There's also plans for a 3,200 square foot storage building on the property. Our access to the property is from an existing curb cut, with a shared access drive through this, an easement, basically, 50-foot easement through this property, the front property that will be still zoned commercial. To the back, it will be a concrete, drive. There'll be ample parking for visitors, for the employees. The current plan is to have a maximum of 10 employees, working the facility. And then, this back area here will be primarily gravel. They'll have a little bit of bunker area storage for the materials like the sand and the rock and materials that's used for the blocks that they will haul into the facility to make. The owner is here tonight, or the future owner is here tonight. He can talk about the operation in just a second, but I want to kind of go over the plan first. Couple things to note: there's residential properties in the back. There's the church property on this side, and then business B1 or B properties on that side. We have intentionally pushed the building further away from these properties in the back. And if you noted on the existing aerial image, there was a big green buffer. You can see the tree line up there. We're maintaining I think required by code is 10 feet setback. We're keeping a 50-foot buffer, and a berm, a planted berm. So 6 foot tall berm, we're planting trees on top of that, to maintain visibility. No one in the houses here can be able to see the building from that vantage point. Stormwater pond in the back, and That's pretty much the access, we can kind of talk through the rest of it here. The operation of this facility will be primarily 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The traffic will increase during peak hours as staff arrive in the morning, and then from lunchtime when we get lunch. So there's not a high traffic opportunity on this site. The daily traffic trip, what we're estimating is 40 trips per day. It's very low water use. Anticipated water use is 2,000 gallons per day. And then the buildings will be, the bathrooms will be maintained by septic system on this side of the property, over this area here. And it would be, low use, about 250 gallons per day is the max we're anticipating for that. The proposed development will be equipped with access to electricity, telephone, and data. And then if you'll go to the next page, I'll show some just street views so you can see. This is what it looks like on the Highway 29. And I can't read it from here, so I have to read my sheet here. So this view here is from US 29 north towards Davisville. That's the property you'll see. There's the corner of the church building. This is the view US 29 south towards Athens. You see the proposed property back there. There's a tree line. That's a tree line that we would maintain. The lower one is north towards Angelo. Also, that's the tree line we'll maintain. And then you would see the building from 29. It's open through there, so you're skipping there. And then the lower one here is US 29 south towards Athens. That's the curb cut that you see on the road now. That's where the access would be for the property. And then the next page, please. Up. Maybe. That's okay. Don't worry about that. It's got. I was going to show the rendering of the building. Well, let's go to this page here. There's, before I go there, landscaping wise, what we got proposed. I told you about the buffer on the backside. There's 101 trees planned for the property as we try to buffer around the site. There'll be a 4,900 square foot retention pond will be on the back of the property as well. And then this is a plant that is one of the newest in Georgia, very similar plant from what we're talking about here. It's in Newnan, located in Newnan, 198 Quarry Road in Newnan. And this is what you see from the air. That's the size of the building. Very, very similar size to what we've got here. What I'm showing here is they have a sound study completed to show how the decibel levels are inside the building. So on this table down here tells you what their measurements were. So if you're standing next to the machine inside the building without vibration, it's 60 decibels. With the exterior doors closed, 102 decibels inside the building, right against the machine. 1,000 feet from the door, with the doors closed, your decibel reading is 46 decibels. That's, as a comparison, that sounds like rain outside, or refrigerator running. That's the sound you hear 1,000 feet from the door. So that just gives you an idea of what their study showed after operation has been operating, what the sound is. There'll be no exterior lights other than what is security lights that will be shining down the property. They will not be operating at night. So noise is low, traffic is low, and then lighting is low. So we appreciate the opportunity hearing us out. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. The owner is here, the proposed owner is here if you want to have him address and tell a little bit more about the operations side of things.
So you mentioned the height of the building. Are there any conveyor belts and towers that
Exterior or interior?
well, that's something that would surpass 30 feet?
I don't think so. I think everything inside the building, there's no.
Inside the building, everything. Exterior, there is one silo that will hold bulk cement that will be 45 to 50 probably. It's the tallest thing there.
With
And
the
then
conveyor belt feeds.
there is one conveyor in the back, but it's shorter than that silo. Maybe.
Well, why don't you come on up and stand with him? Yeah?
Maybe 30 feet. I'm Stephen Banks, CEO with Turner Concrete and Quality Block Company out of Elberton, Georgia. Yes, that, the silo will be the tallest thing at maybe 50 feet.
How about dust? Is there any dust?
No dust.
None whatsoever?
Considering we have to, all of our exterior roads will be paved, dust collectors, this plant's state of the art, it's very nice. I was speaking to a gentleman in the neighborhood behind us. If somebody sees dust out of this operation, there's a problem and we've got something going on that we have to address. There should be no dust.
Oh, I have a question. Couple quick, well, I really want to clarify some things. So, the facility, I know they showed a picture, it's nothing like this, right? I went to a facility that in Athens, one in Athens. Okay, now, according to you, your facility is gonna be all brick or something? It's gonna be, what is it gonna be made out of?
That picture that you had, that's the model plant in
Okay.
Unit.
Oh, so this is exactly what.
That's pretty much exactly what you will see. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
okay, so then I do have a question.
Okay.
You answered one about employees, so 10 employees, couple management jobs. Okay, so according to what you're saying, while I went to the facility in Athens, they have their materials outside, sand or whatever they do to make the blocks. And then they have their blocks, I guess, whatever they made, and those are outside. So, according to you, are all that gonna be inside?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you're gonna be outside too?
Yes.
Okay,
Just the blocks you see, that's blocks. There's some storage area on the sides that would have the sand and the other materials.
Sand and stone.
okay, all right. So, the facility in Athens was there established before the housing around it. So, they kind of, the characteristics of the environment, they made it where it can be cohesive with what was already there. So they kind of blend the old with the new. And so it's not really noticeable because the flats or the housing around it is made of brick, it's like an urban whatever. Now, this facility here, if you were to get approved, how would you make that so it's cohesive to, because I mean, you have $200,000-$300,000 houses. And I know you have the, grocery store and all those other things and the church and stuff. They really don't, they're kind of cohesive. So this here, this building I'm looking at, it's not really, to me, is being cohesive to what fits the environment around it. Because, you know, well, Madison County, and I'm speaking to you, you know, we want, well, I would love to have manufacturers come, because you want those jobs. But then you want to be able to go to your part of the, especially you go in the grocery store or whatever, you want to be able to say, oh, that looks like a sore thumb sticking out of, you know. And please don't take anything I say personal. I'm not trying to be personal.
Cynthia, let me interrupt you just a second. You have a question for them?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. So how would you make this look more cohesive to what is around it?
Well, first of all, so the frontage of that property will be business developed at some point. So you won't be able to see that part of the business from the road once it's developed in front, the commercial part. That's gonna stay commercial. That back piece is gonna there's really no, unless you ask them to brick the building, there's really no way to make it. I mean, it's just a metal building for operational purposes.
So you're going to build businesses in front and
Yes.
rent them out or something?
Yeah, no, not rent them out. That'll be the frontage there is a separate parcel, that's
Right.
on deed. So it'll be developed someday, it's on 29, it'll be developed.
It'll be developed some point, but
Yeah.
you don't know when.
I don't know.
Is that your part?
Pardon?
Is that belong to you?
No.
Okay,
I'm
you're
just the
doing that.
engineer.
Oh,
I'm the
okay,
engineer.
okay.
Sorry.
So that part, it doesn't even belong to the,
I will own both properties,
oh, you will.
but I don't have any plans for the road frontage. right now.
Okay, so it will be just looking at that, so.
Well, we do have a landscaping plan for the whole frontage of that, so to try to mask the building from the street. So if you look at the plan, there's a whole, along the outside of that parking area in the front, will be a line of trees to screen that building
In front,
in front.
okay.
All right, anyone else?
Yes, is, your future plans, is this the only thing you're going to produce this plant? As far as,
Just concrete blocks, yes,
concrete
sir.
block? Ain't gonna be no like mixing concrete, out of concrete trucks and all that?
No, sir. We also do that, but no plans there.
Ken?
So with the vegetation there you're putting in there, the only thing visible from 29, as I understand, would be above the trees that you plant there, would be maybe the tower that sits up higher, I think it's 30 feet high, when you show up. And now you're gonna be using the sewer system for your facility there. The
Septic system?
The septic, yes, I'm sorry. So you're not gonna be using the sewer.
No.
Now, the front part, which is gonna remain business, does that have sewer access?
I think it has to.
I believe it does. It does.
Yes, it does.
I got an email from the commissioner, it does have sewage, that's the front part of it.
And then the final thing is the wastewater pool. Is that are you gonna have any effluents coming out of this?
It's not wastewater, it's stormwater.
Stormwater.
The whole stormwater, it'll be, if it rains, it hits the ground.
So everything coming out of your plant will just go into the septic system?
There's nothing coming out of the plant itself, other than the bathroom waste, that's it.
Last thing is the only, I think, really, you've got sand, you've got stone, and then you've got the cement. And the cement will arrive in the truck and go straight into the silo.
Pumped into the silo, yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
What, financially, what does this mean to Madison County?
Financially,
Or as taxes, or what does Madison County gain from accepting this particular business?
I mean, I guess just the tax base, possibly some employment out of Madison County, hopefully.
I saw some figures somewhere that this would mean so much, from the tax perspective for Madison County.
That may have been done internally here.
I wish I could help you a little more, really.
Well, that may have been internal.
I mean, the only thing I would say from Madison, people can access, they don't have to drive to Elton, they don't have to drive to Athens. I think you mentioned Athens has a small plant there, so it does provide, contractors and businesses locally to get their blocks closer.
Would it be open to the public?
Yes, sir.
I had a couple of questions as far as you mentioned the access off of 29, that everything's gonna be paved. So we're going to pave the access to the plant, as well as the storage, the aggregate storage yard and everything, all that is gonna be paved there as well?
I'm not planning on paving the very back where we store blocks.
Okay. As far as, I received a ton from surrounding property owners, and one of the things that concerns is dust.
Yes.
Not just during the manufacturing process itself, but if you're talking about 40 trucks coming in and out a day, I got a gravel driveway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Right.
And my wife sweeps the den several times when we come in and out. So could you address that a little bit on what we're talking about as far as what is actually gonna be paved? And then what is gonna be?
Yeah. So what you see right here is paved from here, all on the front is paved.
Okay,
In the back, that's gravel.
okay. The vegetative barrier, the trees that you're talking about, the berm, is that on the front side of the retention pond?
So the berm, would extend all the way across the back of the property. 6-foot tall berm.
Right.
With trees on top.
Okay.
Our intent was on that, we're not required to do that by code. Our intent is to mask this building from the homes back there. So
And that's the
that's-
reason I'm asking, obviously, there's a lot of people here that are concerned about what is gonna come, and I would be equally as concerned if that's my
Sure.
primary residence right there as well, so I'm trying to make sure we're addressing some of those details.
I mean, typically, we might even push that building further back if we, we're trying to stay as far away, plus to give that perspective view that you won't see is up front against your property.
So you say further back, you're talking about towards the highway?
Well, we've got room to push it further back towards the houses, but we're intentionally pushing it towards the highway, the main highway.
Well, I think that's probably the concern of most folks is they wanna get it as far away, because it is a far away from the houses.
That's what I'm saying.
Not closer to.
We're pushing it further away from the houses. So we could have put it back closer towards the back of the houses, or towards those houses.
So you're as far this way as you can go.
Well, yeah, that property line is right, that new property, the existing, the B property is right here. So we're squeezed as far up front as we can on that.
I have another question. I have a concern, now that you say you own both properties. Do you have any future to extend? Because I know you're saying that's business, but if one goes to industry, it can always be turned, the front can be turned in. So my concern is, that front property you say you own, do you have any future intentions of expanding the business in the back, that industry, or, cause you're saying business, but it can always go to industry.
No, man, I would never need to expand what we're doing in the back. And my plan is to leave that front business, but I don't have a plan for it now.
He's not asking to rezone that front.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, for future.
Any further questions?
One more on the back, if I could. So when we had a picture of it, there's a large vegetative or a lot of mature trees.
Yeah.
Those would be removed in order to get this aggregate yard, and then you're talking about constructing the berm and planting the trees.
That's
So
correct.
the green spaces, we looked at the aerial, that is gonna be removed.
Not all of them. So this right here is your green space line.
Okay,
That's staying. So it's gonna stay in that spot. There'll be a little bit of section that comes out, all that back there, there'll be, whatever we can leave, we'll leave, we'll put the berm in and the trees.
perfect. Thank you for your clarification.
Please, I have a question about water. You're estimating 2,000 gallons a day of usage. Can you tell us a little bit, does that 2,000 gallons go toward the manufacturing of the blocks themselves and their water? There is no extra water for discharge, treatment, anything. Where does?
There's no water discharge, all of that is just in the manufacturing process.
That goes into the block.
Correct, yes. And it takes, it's very little when you're making block. Not like concrete.
Okay, has there been any discussion with the county to make sure you can have water? I mean, is it an assumed thing that you can have water because it's on the highway, or have you gotten permission for 2,000 gallons a day from the county? Because there are concerns about water in the county.
We submitted that in our packet, that we were gonna use that up front. We have talked to the commissioners about it. There is water, there is 2,000 gallons available, that's not very much water.
So you have been given permission.
I don't have a sewer water capacity letter, if that's what you're saying, we haven't gotten that far yet, but yes, we've been told that there's 2,000 gallons of water a day.
Any more questions? you so much.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here who wants to speak for this rezone request? Anyone here wants to speak for this rezone request? Please come forward, state your name, and tell us what you want to hear.
Thank you. My name is, Susan Milne, and I'm unclear of exactly what road are those homes on.
Virginia Lane, Bedford Drive.
They're on Virginia Lane and,
Bedford Drive is, the other housing development on the angle. Bedford Drive is on the southwest.
Windsor Heights subdivision, that's my property in that back corner, beside the water retention pond. There's already, the retention pond is already there.
Are you speaking in favor of this, or you just have a question?
I have a question and I'm not in favor of it, and I think.
Okay, well, I'm just, at this point, we're asking for those that are in favor to come forward and speak.
Excuse me, please, I didn't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, now anyone in favor of this rezone request, who wants to speak in favor of it? Hearing none. Now, is there anyone here that wants to speak in opposition to? I see a lot of heads. A lot of heads. Do you all have a spokesman, or we'll try to hear as many of you as possible, but please, as I stated in the beginning, if somebody talks about one thing, please don't just go over and over and over the same thing, okay?
Are you gonna impose 15 minutes per side?
We're gonna try.
Can you
And there is a limit in our rules that should be 15 minutes per side. So, I'm sure we can't get all of you in 15 minutes, but we'll get as many of you as possible. I will start, I saw this gentleman's hand first, if you will please come forward, state your name and tell us what you want to hear, what you want us to hear, and we'll go from there.
Good evening. My name is David Geary. I live at 76 Madeline Court in Hull. On behalf of the members of the Bryce Landing Phase 2 Homeowners Association, I'm here tonight to ask that the rezoning request for parcel 32-022 between the VA Assistance Building and the Crossroad Church be denied. While we are not opposed to all industrial growth, we feel this is not an appropriate site for any industrial zoning. The Madison County 2022-2042 Comprehensive Plan, page 54, specifically states that the Dogsboro area is planned as primarily commercial retail, and the policy is to, and I quote, encourage development that is both compatible with existing and future land uses and consistent with community character, end quote. This is not, in our opinion, consistent with the community character of Dogsboro. Furthermore, the entire South Madison County character, as defined in the comprehensive plan on page 52, is planned to primarily feature residential and commercial retail with a policy of development that is both compatible with existing and future land uses and consistent with the present community character. While the comprehensive plan suggests that most of the other defined areas in Madison County be considered for both commercial and industrial growth, it specifically states that the Dogsboro should be considered for commercial growth. It does not include industrial. This site adjoins a residential subdivision on two sides, a church on a third side, and that alone should prevent the rezoning of this parcel to industrial. There are questionable responses to the submitted analysis request. Question 6, will the proposed change adversely influence living conditions in the neighborhood? The answer was no. Does anyone really believe having a concrete block plant in your backyard is not going to affect your living conditions. Question 10, will the proposed change adversely affect property values in the adjacent area? The answer was no. Imagine showing your home to a potential buyer and the view from your patio is a large concrete block processing plant. Question 11, will the proposed change be a deterrent to the improvement or development of adjacent property in accordance with existing regulations? The answer was unclear. How can it not be a deterrent? Who would want to put a cafe, a beauty salon, or any other business that directly serves all of our citizens next to the plant? There are other answers on the report that point to this being a bad idea. Number 15 already admits this is inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. Also, the analysis narrative by zoning administrator Tracy Patrick has already noted that this is inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. While the hazardous aspects of silica and cement-based products will certainly be present, the noise of machinery, although stated it would not be a problem, the dust, which is stated would not be a problem, and heavy truck traffic, specifically trying to make a left turn on Highway 29, will very much so have a negative effect on the quality of life of all the residents in the area. Also, the stormwater runoff from a plant like this, when proposed, can be a major problem. This is in spite of the statement to the contrary. Moving this concrete block manufacturing plant from Athens, Clark to Madison County does not benefit anyone except Mr. Banks and Mr. Everett. This zoning board is the single most important government body in Madison County when it comes to establishing, guiding, and preserving the aesthetic and environmental quality of our community. In the past, you have shown wisdom and concern for your fellow Madison County citizens in Dogsboro when you denied an auto junkyard rezoning to industrial. We hope you will all show that same good judgment again here tonight by maintaining the Dogsboro area in the character it is now and the character planned for it in the future by denying this rezoning request. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Caitlin McDonald. I live at 411 Bedford Drive. It is one of the houses that received the letter about being a bordering property. I obviously want to vote no for this since it is bordering my property. I know that when the owner and the engineer talked, they did talk about trying to shield the view. To be honest, when I think about the property value of my home, I'm not so much concerned about, I mean, it'd be great if it wasn't visible, but there's a reason industrial zoning is never near residential. I mean, if this was going to be something that is 100% safe and sound, why would it fall into the industrial zoning category to begin with? The gentleman before me already very thoroughly covered, you know, from the comprehensive plan, that this area was going to be commercial. And I'll say we only bought our home 5 years ago, and when we toured it and we saw the backyard and that it was undeveloped behind us, I looked up what the zoning was because it did impact my decision on whether to buy that house or not. So to, again, you know, say no that affecting property values is kind of ludicrous to me. I've spoken with local realtors and house hunters in the weeks after getting the letter, and they all agree what I think we know is common sense, that having your house next to an industrial zone is not going to positively affect your property. Besides anecdotal evidence like that, I also did broader research. I work at UGA, so I do have access to some journals and things like that real estate researchers study this kind of thing, and there have been studies published on the effect of undesirable facilities and property values, and it confirms what, again, I think we all know is common sense. Of course, it's going to hurt the property value of the surrounding area. In terms of the comprehensive plan, I also wanted to point out that in section 3, it discussed how Madison County is projected to have a shortage of commercial land and an excess of industrial and residential land. So the plan actually suggests the opposite of this, which is that we're going to have a deficit of commercial land and that we'll eventually need to rezone from industrial and residential to commercial. So to do the opposite now in an area bordered by residential and commercial just seems really out of step with me. I understand that they are saying the dust is going to be low. Again, I'm not sure about that. I will say even if it's not visible, the application does talk about a uncovered block storage area. So even if it's not a lot every day, things build up over time. I mean, if you ever look at plants and trees and stuff around industrial areas, they're not exactly like luscious and full of life. Concrete dust can also be very abrasive over time, which can damage property like car paint and glass, besides the effects, which would obviously be negative on your lungs and that kind of thing. Again, even if it is a very small amount, if you're living right next to it over a long period of time, that's still going to eventually hurt you. And that's my piece. Thank you.
That's about 15 minutes has been used up, but I will take the gentleman in the back. 6 minutes. 6 minutes, okay? My wife is back.
My name is Blaine Seagraves. I'm a resident of Hidden Lake Drive currently, and have a lot of other things to share that were already stated ahead of me very eloquently tonight. So I want to just make my chief concerns known to the board tonight, and that's primarily future plans for this property. The question was asked earlier, was there intent to expand onto the property or expand the business? Once it's rezoned and it is changed to industrial, there's really nothing that can be done to stop them from doing that. Once that zoning is changed, heaven forbid the business go under and the business close, the property come up for sale again, and that would make it industrial for sale, and then we wouldn't be able to come and express our concerns the next time because it would already be rezoned to industrial. I'm the pastor of Colorado Church, and I deal with a lot of congregant members who are in the cloud, if you will, of the plant there in Colorado, and that has greatly impacted their quality of life. Residents that have lived there for 50, 60 years. Now, I'm in no way comparing that plant to the manufacturing of concrete blocks. That's apples to oranges. I know that in terms of what they do at that plant. However, the same thing could be expressed when you have such close proximity to such a manufacturing plant as you have in these residences. I think there's 50 houses within 1,000 feet of the center of this property. I think if you expand that to 1,500 feet, that goes to 75 residences. If you expand that number to 2,000 foot, I think you have over 100 residences within 2,000 feet of this property. And so my chief concern is if he were to expand, what would that entail? Having been to Quality Block several times in my life to pick up block, I would venture to say most of our homes and their foundations were built with block by Quality Block. So I'm not anti-Quality Block. I'm just anti it coming into our backyard right there. One of the things that I've heard in dealing with my congregant members when they talk to the IDA about their issues with the plant and culvert is this question, and I have this as a direct quote from several IDA board members that I'm friends with. They always ask the question, was the plant zoned industrial when you bought your house? When you bought that property, when you built there, was it zoned that way? And for a lot of those individuals that have moved into that area and bought houses around that when it was the Trust Choice factory that was shut down, the answer is yes. And so the IDA says, well, you knew the risk of that when you bought that property. When we invested in these properties in whole, there was no industry there. There is no manufacturing there. And so we like the proximity to Clark County. We like the proximity to businesses in that area without the industry, without the manufacturing. So the question for us, if we're asked that same question, is a resounding no. I mean, there was no industry when we bought that property. There was no industry manufacturing there when we bought those houses and we built our homes. And so, it's my strong opinion that, since the answer is no, that it should remain that way, and we should not have this come into our backyard. Thank you.
All right, we have time for one other. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Timothy Collins. I live at 411 Medford Drive, one of the adjoining properties. And we've had a lot of really good points tonight that I agree with, and I'm also in opposition to this request, to this proposal. I wanted to highlight a couple of things about the current facility operating in Athens that is being proposed to move to Madison. I am, in general, curious as to why we haven't heard a lot of reasons for why they want to move it. And I wanted to highlight that in doing some of my own visiting of that facility, I took some recordings, both video and audio, that I provided to the commission earlier today to sort of give a broader picture of what the kind of sound situation is like, because the study that the engineer mentioned earlier tonight does focus on the kind of internal machine noise, but there's kind of a larger sound profile happening. The transportation of the materials in the surrounding area do get much louder. My, kind of cursory research peaked at 87 decibels, which is well in excess of the 75 decibel barrier recommended by the Georgia Department of Transportation and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development as being unreasonable for residential areas. So if we could hear more reasons as to why they should be moving, I would love to hear them. My fear is that since it is currently an operating facility with 10 employees, that if they move across the county line, it's not really going to open up any additional employment opportunities for Madison County residents, because they probably already have employees that live in the area and work there. So I don't think it's really going to open anything up for anybody in my neighborhood. So I think the crowd here is a testament to how passionate we are about the development in our area and our concerns for the future of that development if this were to go forward. Thank you.
All right, we got 1 minute. Sir?
Yes, sir. My name is Charles Townsend. Me and my wife Angela, we own a house on Bedford Drive. It's very much along the corner of this. We would be able to sit on our back deck and see the place. I don't want to be the dead horse. Everybody's said all bad points. A couple of things that have been brought up is one thing is the retention pond. The whole row along Bedford Drive has a problem with water runoff and drainage. Homes along there, they swamp and they flood during heavy rains. I can't see this making it any better. Another thing to consider is with a big drainage pond like that, it's going to be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. We got a big enough problem as it is. And I agree with what the first gentleman said. This whole area is supposed to be zoned for commercial, retail, and that fits with the community. There shouldn't be anything going in there that does not help the community. And I cannot see any benefit to this place helping the community. Another point, and I heard that they're trying to make this place almost invisible, but I understand business. I've been in business for 40 years. The thing is about business is it's fluid. Plans change. They don't try to run 8 to 5 in regular business hours. Okay, if this place is built, business increases. We gotta add shifts. If you have a second shift, then they'll have a third shift. And maybe even weekend shifts. That also means construction on the highway, for trucks to turn left, they're going to have to put a red light out there in front of the place for trucks to turn left. And it's gonna create a traffic hazard. We have enough accidents along that strip of road as it is. Those are points that have just not been brought up. So, I don't want to repeat myself. I just want to have my say, and I hope you'll make a good decision. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, gentlemen, you have the opportunity to come back and you've heard these people, so you have a chance to rebut anything that they've said.
I think you've got about 8 minutes for rebuttal.
I won't take that long. Thank you for the opportunity to come back, and I do appreciate the comments. I mean, that's, we live in a great nation that allows us the opportunity to comment either way. I just have a couple of things to mention. The dust control, we did talk about that internally before, and you brought it up yourself, Mr. Commissioner. If dust is an issue, there are many measures that can be placed, sprinkler systems, there are ways to control the dust. So that is one comment I want to bring up. This plan, we've done all possible we can to prevent view, to prevent aesthetics, sound, and just overall appearance of the property, in the overall plan. So, we feel like we've got a good plan in place. If you saw the pictures in the packet from what the current facility looks like at the site in Newton, part of the reason that he wants to move from Madison, I came up with it multiple times, is equipment ages, building ages, processes age, and so this is an opportunity to update to the high quality equipment and get his operation more efficient. So that's one. Instead of rebuilding in a small footprint you've got a place to expand that footprint to make it what he needs. So that's the primary reason for moving from Athens. And I think that's all I need to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. Let me say, to the citizens, thank you for coming out and expressing your viewpoints. And now I'll bring it back to the board for, I will entertain a motion to approve with conditions or to deny. The floor is now Mr. Gandy.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to kind of run through some of the thinking here. The right of U.S. citizen-owned land, private property is bedrock for our country. The landowners should be free to do whatever they want to with their land. Any restrictions that individuals feel must be, any restrictions on those individuals must be fully justified and backed up by legal documents. Because you're essentially taking that freedom that is very fundamental to our country away from somebody. However, the citizens' vision for Madison County is a guiding document for us with a comprehensive plan. This is the vision of the citizens that was expressed in the comprehensive plan. The desire to maintain the country's rural and natural qualities by preserving agriculture and environmental resources. Industry and business growth, infrastructure, and residential development should be directed into cities and other planned development. I think that's the basis for us weighing in on the landowners' right. Land use planning, which is a comprehensive plan, serves as the foundation for the zoning and subdivision regulations which we live under here. We try to adhere to the concept, not only the concept, but the intent of the comprehensive plan as well. And but it's those regulations that put that vision of what the citizens want for the county into action. And the zoning map should be consistent with the land use map. We do have there was pointed out, we got the Dogsboro area and the South Madison County character areas. Both of them are designed to start pushing commercial business and in that area. But it was exactly right, and I have to really kind of look at this very carefully, especially the Dogsboro character area, which I think is the one most appropriate here because we're talking proximity to Ingalls, Veterans Facility, and all that. Its primary plan for commercial and retail growth. Currently dominated by highway-related businesses and including Ingalls. Everyone's quite visible. Undeveloped and underdevelopment areas are available for new and redevelopment. Future characters should include a combination of big box stores and outdoor plazas. I'm not exactly sure why they got that specific in there, but I think I got the gist of what they're looking at. This is obviously a manufacturing facility. We talk about industry, I think it's kind of light industry, but it's gonna be industry. In this case, I mean, the comprehensive plan is pretty specific on what the people wanted for this area to look like. So just with that, I just wanted to clarify, that's kind of where the thinking, I think, from my point is. It is a tough decision because I think the company has done a really admirable job of being sensitive to citizens. All the extra vegetation, concern with paving, dust, I think y'all done an admirable job of trying to make it as tolerable as possible. But on the other hand, we have the citizens here which are expressing their own feelings about this, and they have to live there. So this is a tough one.
Okay, are you making a motion?
I'm glad that we deny this, Mr.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Gandy to deny. I have a second.
Second.
A second by Ms. Fortson. Any comments by any other board members?
I would like to say, I think that most citizens will agree that we need business in this county. My personal opinion is, I think this business needs to call Madison County home. We would welcome them to come into this county. I went to the Athens plant this morning, just to see it myself. And then on my way home, I went by the subdivisions on the backside of this property and, to view that. I just do not feel that this lot is the best for this business. I think that there are places in this county that can accommodate this business. I'd like to think that the Industrial Development Authority or the Chamber of Commerce or county administration, someone could help this situation to find a home in Madison County. I just don't think this is the right place to do.
All right, anyone else?
Well, I wanted to say that, I know people in Madison County want jobs, they want companies to come in, and it's not anything personal, but if we change this industrial, it'd be the initiative, it'd be the first one, and that one will set the standard. So, I don't think this is the right type of industry to come in and set the standard for that area right now.
All right, anyone else? If not, we're to vote Lee.
This is to deny?
This is to deny.
Yes.
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 Okay, we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners at the next public hearing to deny this particular request. Again, this is a recommending board only, and I want to say to the owners, please present your case to the Board of Commissioners. And to all of you that showed up tonight, you need to show up at that meeting. Simply because they make the final decision. The decision of this board tonight is to recommend to the Board of Commissioners to deny this particular rezone request. Thank you all, and we will move on to our next one. You all are welcome to stay. If you would, we have other business to attend to, please. Those that are leaving, please move on. All right, number 6 and number 7, we're going to take together, Brooks, York, Ms. Patrick.
Okay, so we have Brooke York, and she is requesting to rezone a 2-acre portion of her 27.51 acres from A1 to AR to combine with a 2-acre portion from her adjoining property for a total of 4 acres for a home site. The remaining 25.51 acres will stay in the A1 zone. Property is located at 1265 Mathis Road in Danielsville on map 37, parcel 29-02 in District 2. And the second is she's requesting to rezone a 2-acre portion of her 27.49 acres from A1 to AR to combine with a 2-acre portion from her adjoining property, as stated previously, for a total of 4 acres for a home site. The remaining 25.49 acres will stay in the A1 zone, and this property is located at 1265 Mathis Road in Danielsville, and that is on map 37, parcel 29-03 in District 2.
York, please come forward.
Good evening. So I would like to rezone a total of 4 acres to an AR designation for a home site. Currently, there are 27 acres on, and a lot of change on both of the other parcels, and I'd just like to have 4 acres for a home site and continue to use the remaining portion of the for agricultural use.
All right, any questions for Ms. York?
Yeah, the 30-foot wide acres, is that don't slide for what it's at?
Yes.
Any further questions? No, thank you, Ms. York. At this point, we will open the public hearing. If there anyone who wants to speak for this particular rezone request. Anyone wants to speak in favor? Hearing none, is there anyone who wants to speak in opposition? Anyone wants to speak in opposition? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board, and I'll entertain a motion.
I know the
I'll second.
We have a motion by Lee and by William. Any further questions?
Thank you.
And that's for both 6 and 7.
I was thinking.
6 and 7.
Yeah, we
Yes,
didn't hear
I
what
was
you
thanking the
said.
gentleman for closing the door.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't hear what
Yes.
you
Your vote.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Who will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that both items 6 and 7 be approved? I would suggest that you please come to that particular public hearing. All right, number 8, Courtney Barron, applicant for our parents, Stacy and Larissa Johnson.
Are we gonna take 8 and 9 and 10 together?
Oh, 8, 9, and 10, I'm sorry, yes. Took them all together. 8, 9, and 10.
Okay. So Courtney Barron, applicant for her parents Stacy and Larissa Johnson, is requesting to rezone their 2.02 acre tract from AR to A2 to combine with a 7.98 acre tract from her adjoining property for a total of 10 acres to give their daughter for a home site. This property is located at 0 Brewer Phillips Road in Danielsville on map 40, parcel 29 in District 2. And the second request is Courtney Barron, applicant for her mother, Larissa Johnson, is requesting to rezone her 22.16 acres from A1 to A2 to allow a 7.98 acre portion to be combined with the adjoining 2.02 acre portion for a total of 10 acres to gift her daughter for a home site. Property is located at 0 Brewer Phillips Road in Danielsville on map 40, parcel 29A in District 2. And then the third application is Courtney Barron, applicant for her parents Stacy and Larissa Johnson, is requesting to rezone their 2.06 acre tract from A1 to A2 to combine with their adjoining property for a total of 16.22 acres. Property is located at 456 Brewer Phillips Road in Danielsville on map 40, parcel 29B in District 2.
All right, Ms. Barron?
Good evening. Courtney Barron at 739 Crawford W. Street currently. So initially that was divided. My grandparents bought the land, they separated out their home, and then the additional 2 acre tract was separated from my parents. To the far left was separated from my great aunt and uncle. That was later bought by my parents. So through inheritance, that is all their land, essentially the 26 acres. Our goal is to divide that so that I have 10 acres for an A2 zoned home so that we can be closer to family.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Barron? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll open the public hearing. If anyone here wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board, and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this as presented.
And we have a motion by Mr. Gandy. I'll second. A second, Bradley. Any further questions or comments? If not, Mr. Gandy, I believe it's on you.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ms. Barron, we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this rezone request be approved. There will be a second public hearing, and I suggest that you do show up for that. All right, number 11. Carrie Brown, applicant for Chris and Wendy Burrows. Traffic.
Right. She is requesting to rezone a 2.19 acre portion with an existing home from A1 to R1 to split to sell his sister. The remaining 35.91 acres will stay in the A1 zone. The property is located at 3741 Moonsgrove Church Road in Danielsville on map 28, parcel 106 in District 1.
All right, Ms. Brown?
Good evening. I'm Carrie Brown, my maiden name is Burrows. My request this evening is to rezone, the house that's on the property that used to belong to my grandmother when she was living. House was built in 1900 by her grandmother. So, I would be the third generation granddaughter living in the house. And we just want to basically, we're gonna renovate the house, raise our family there. It is, 2.19 acres. That gives easement to the back of the property, which my brother and sister-in-law own. Then also my parents' driveway runs adjacent to the easement. So obviously, in future, that would all kind of come under the umbrella of my parents and then my brother and I guess his inheritance, not that I'm trying to wish him deceased, by any stretch of the imagination. So pretty straightforward. Just want to be able to renovate the house, do a mortgage for the house and the 2 acres, and basically live in front of my parents. You will see there, what I've provided is there are a lot of different plots in the vicinity that are of that size. We are requesting R1 simply because the most recent approved property was my aunt's inheritance, and I believe it was recommended she do R1, so that's why we were doing R1. A lot of it around it is AR, I believe. My parents is A2 behind, but they've owned that property since the late 80s. Certainly open to any questions, anything else I can offer.
All right, I have a question.
Yeah, okay, now, you're taking that whole front area,
Yes, ma'am.
all the road frontage.
The remaining road frontage, yes, ma'am.
So what is the future for the back, or that's gonna be landlocked?
It's conservation. My brother, who's also here, it's hunting land. There's a small pond and a smaller lake on the back of the property that's just, used for enjoyment. There's hunting, but there's, no other desire other than conservation.
But I know that it's buildable land, right? If you wanted to.
Not really. It's a long and narrow strip, and it always has been, even when it was, my grandparents got it, from her mother, who, lived in the property that's kind of in the front of that. It was much wider, and it was divided into 3 siblings, in the late 50s, I believe, early 60s. So it gets really narrow, and then widens up towards the back, but, ultimately, there's not a lot of road frontage because of the design in the late 50s when she split it up. It will be recorded, should this be approved, but it is on I believe, the plat that Tommy Paul drew up. And also, my parents' driveway is directly on the other side of that easement, which is truly, that's how the back property is accessed today, and, would truly be how it's accessed in the future.
Okay, so it is access.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I have a question. Typically, R1s and this much property is generally kind of frowned upon. Can you tell me why that you didn't apply for AR or R1?
Honestly, because it's my understanding that we're trying to get away from AR requests and do R1. That was a conversation I had with Todd Higgins, and he said, R1 was kind of the path forward. Certainly would be open to AR, and that's, like I said, most of the plats around there are some sort of agricultural designation.
Yes.
Except for the one directly next to it, which my aunt got as part of inheritance in late 2022, or 2023, I'm sorry. And it was on R1, so it's next to an R1 at this point.
Now, you know that AR is 4 acres.
Yes, sir.
You know that in the past, there was 2 acres, but now AR is 4 acres. That was purposely done to reduce the residential aspect, keep residential away from the agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we came up with an AR designation for someone that has the situation that you're in. The R1, this doesn't fit in the agricultural scheme of things. So, I don't know, that's a question I have. This is almost what you call spot zoning, which is, having an R1 in the middle of agriculture.
Well, it's right next to another R1, which was approved.
But that is an R1, right?
Yes, the not, what we have today is requesting for R1, but the 2 acres is directly next to what would be the property, or what is currently the property line is R1 today, as we said.
I know, it's just a close call. I don't
Right.
know how it's going to turn out, but I think that if it was AR, I think there would be no hesitation to approve this. But, right now, this is something that, I think it's just going to counter the comprehensive plan.
So, what he's saying, if it went to AR, could you take off more, like 2 more acres from the property?
Well, ultimately, I guess that would be a decision for, you know, my brother and sister-in-law, if they're currently the owners, of the land. It is, as I previously stated, it's very narrow, especially through there. There's an old poultry house that's used for storage. So to carve another 2 acres would further, narrow some of that, based on kind of how the layout of the land is. You know, I believe there was, I'm not sure who's running the screen there, but, there are 7 to 8 properties around this that are 2 acres thereabouts. One is 0.68, so not even remotely close. Yes, it's that one there. And so these are the ones that are in the direct vicinity, so it's all kind of in line with what a lot of those properties are. As far as R1 versus AR, it was just a matter of that was the recommendation.
Well, I think that, we have to take up your request tonight for R1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you've heard the discussion about AR, that will be totally your decision based on, you know, what, the recommendation here. Well, and I'm not trying to say that we're trying to change your mind. We have to take up tonight the R1 request.
Yes, sir, I understand.
But if the applicant were amenable to that, and that's what the commission wanted to do, you could do that without having to reapply and re-advertise,
Right.
because it's going to a less intensive zone than the one that was applied for originally.
Correct. But I just wanted her to understand that
Yes, sir, you're right.
we're trying to take up the R1. Any other comments, questions?
With all this said, I guess I just wanted to mention, yes, the parcel next, adjacent to this parcel was zoned R1 in 2023. But I will remind you that down the road a little bit at Hammond Drive, at Moon Road, there's a lady that wanted 2 acres. We had the same conversation, and she went back and changed it to 4 acres in order to get it done. So we need to be consistent before we do it.
All right. Comment?
It's one of the greatest challenges that we've had. I'll just be transparent and 100% honest. Personally, when I look at it, I try to pay attention to what the comprehensive plan is looking forward, as opposed to what is in the area, because what is going forward, that is what the county has said for that designation for that particular area, in spite of what may be there, and that's across the board, much like you heard with what was going on there. Just because something's done necessarily in the past doesn't mean that's the future for what it is, unless it's under the comprehensive plan. So it's not directed towards you personally that we're having this dialogue, but that's one that's definitely been very, very challenging for us, and I apologize that you received some communication possibly in one direction as opposed to the other. That's one of the frustrations that we all struggle with on this and volunteering our time on this board.
Understood. Mm-hmm.
Further questions, comments? All right, thank you, ma'am. Mm-hmm. All right, with that, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor of this particular rezone request? Yes, sir, come forward, state your name and tell us what you want us to know.
Yes, my name is Michael Burris. I'm the daddy of both of them. And, you know, we really ain't trying to do nothing other than get her 2 acres to remodel her grandmother's house, built in 1900. I understand we may, and the reason we do an R1 as opposed to AR is because we thought, since my sister-in-law's 2 acres got rezoned R1 just, 2 years ago, that was the direction we should go. Now, maybe we didn't understand what we was doing, but, you know, to go AR and to make her go 4 acres, first we're gonna lose 2 acres of conservation land, and she's gonna pay county taxes on 2 acres that she don't even have a need for. So, with so many 2-acre tracts around this tract, I just can't understand why this would be an issue. Nothing's really gonna change other than that 125-year-old house is gonna be her home to raise her family in. And the other 35 acres, my son has cows on it right now. So, I mean, I understand y'all have a tough job with all what y'all have to go through, but this should be simple. I mean, we're not selling nothing, it's just, and I live on the back side of it. My 2.4 acres, my driveway parallels this, goes up over a hill. So I would really like to see this board consider that and, let us have the 2 acres and R1 and keep my family intact. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? So just to be clear, R1 is 1.5 acres. Just to be clear. Not 2, it's 1.5. All right, anyone else wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone want to speak in opposition? Please come forward, state your name and tell us what you want to hear.
My name is Rick Corbin. I'm an attorney and I represent Mr. Justin Arthur. He's been a client and a friend of mine for a few years now, and he owns a neighboring farm. It's an active farm, operates under the name of Southern Cross Farms too, and he's concerned that because this doesn't comport with the comprehensive plan for the area, that if we continue to do this piecemeal picking off additional R1s every time somebody wants to split this out, it's going to completely change the character of the area, and it's going to eventually crowd him out and make it difficult or even impossible for him to continue his farming operation. And as it relates to the prior 2 acres that's been subdivided out and divided zone R1, that type of activity is actually exactly why I'm here, because he's concerned that if we continue to make exceptions like this, wherein we're doing somebody a favor and cutting them off acreage in an area that doesn't comport with it, eventually we're just gonna piecemeal turn this into a residential area by spot zoning, or Mr. Arthur is going to be right next to what would essentially be a subdivision if we have enough family members come along subsequently. They've already done it in 2023. They say there's no future plans to do it, but it's clear that this is something they've envisioned as a family property long-term, or if somebody passes away in the future, that is, to your point, land that could be developed, and if we have multiple R1s already there, the next person who purchases it, or another family member, could very easily come along and say, well, we've got these 2 R1 parcels here, let's just go ahead and do it, even though it doesn't comport with the comprehensive plan for the area. And so, out of an abundance of caution and to prevent things from continuing to be piecemeal turned into residential, right in the middle of something that has been specifically delineated as agricultural and is next to multiple active farms, my client included, I'm here to speak in opposition on his behalf and also on behalf of 2 other neighbors, Chris and Aaron. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, would you like a rebuttal?
My only comment is that this land has been in my family for 200 years. And it is my brother and I's full intention that it remains so as the last living descendants that are on the property and the adjacent property. So there is no future plan for anything other than what it is. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank both sides for addressing the board. I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the board, and I will entertain a motion on, number 11.
I'll make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that, and I know we go back and forth, especially amongst our board. And I was the one that we should have kept AR 2 acres. And that's why we keep coming into this problem of people, is that word AR and R1. That's what catches us, that if it's AR. So my proposal is, and there are R1s around it. So it's not just to me, it's not just a spot one. It's not just one and everything else is surrounded, because there's other ones. So my motion is to approve as that.
Okay, I have a motion by Cynthia to approve. Do I get a second? Do I have a second? I hear no second, so therefore this motion is dead. Do I have a alternate motion? Do I have an alternate motion?
I'll make the motion to deny.
I have a motion by Lee Mitchell to deny. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Smith. Any other comments or questions? If not, I believe Cynthia is on you.
Is this to approve?
This is to deny.
Yes, it's to deny.
Oh.
To deny. Your motion died. This is
Oh.
a-
Mine is a no.
Okay, we have another.
Yes.
Kenneth is yes.
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 Yes. So we,
Yes.
Mr. Gandy?
Yes.
I mean, yes. 4-1 vote to deny. We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners from this board to deny this particular request. There will be a second public hearing. Board of Commissioners suggest that you all, on both sides, show up to that particular meeting, and they will have the final say. But from this board tonight, we will recommend to the Board of Commissioners to deny. All right, moving on to number 12, Christopher Barr.
He is requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion of his property from A2 to AR to split and give to son. The remaining 12.40 acres will stay in the A2 zone. The property is located at 1780 Collins Brooks Road in Danielsville on map 94, parcel 18-01 in District 4.
Vaughn?
Y'all doing all
Good.
right? My name's Chris Vaughn, currently live in Nicholson, 62 Maple Street, Nicholson. My son bought some 10 acres across the road from that land there, and I bought 16 across. So one day, maybe I hope my grandkids and my kids would have somewhere to build a home, so that's my plans, and I'm want to split that 4 acres and give it to my son, so he can build him a little house.
Right, any questions, Mr. Vaughn? Hearing none, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we will open the public hearing. If anyone wants to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, anyone want to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board, and I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we, approve as presented.
Smith, your motion to approve?
I'll second.
Second by Bradley. Any further comments or questions? All right, Mr. Bradley, I believe it's on you.
Yes.
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 We will recommend to the Board of Commissioners that this be approved. Second public hearing will be held, and we suggest that you, please show up. Is there any other business that needs to come before this board tonight? Hearing none, do I get a motion to? I make a motion to adjourn. Yes, sir? All in favor, aye. We are adjourned. Thank all of you for your time. Thank you.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
It would be much easier to articulate. Could argue anyway.